When we think of science fiction, we think of Western media like Star Wars and Star Trek, or literature like Frankenstein and 1984. Western content has dominated the genre because of how we see the West as progressive and Pakistan as backwards. But that's a dangerous misconception. There's actually a whole world of Pakistani science fiction you may not know about. Let's start with literature. Recently, multiple efforts have been made to highlight sci-fi literary cultures in Pakistan, particularly by Nusrat Kamal, the most prominent contemporary professor of South Asian sci-fi to date. Here's what she has to say about South Asian futurisms.
So South Asian futurisms, the way I think about this term, is sort of the unique way in which writers and artists and creators from our part of the world, from South Asia, with its specific history, with its diverse cultural heritages, different kinds of mythologies, uniquely imagining futures for the world, but also specifically for us, for people like us. And there's been a history of that, rich history in Urdu. So, it can be traced back to the 19th century with the Dastan tradition, but more specifically, more recent Urdu writers such as 20th century writer Muhammad Khalid Akhtar wrote this novel called 2011.
Muhammad Khalid Akhtar's 2011, written in 1950, was the first known Urdu science fiction story to exist. It was often compared to George Orwell's Animal Farm, but holds its own, drawing on and critiquing our local socio-political landscape. Qurratullain Haidar's Roshni Ki Raftar was another pioneering Urdu sci-fi story. This novel tells a story of time travel from 1960s India to Egypt in 1300 BC, with a female protagonist leading the narrative. As for contemporary Pakistani sci-fi literature, Usman T Malik is the frontrunner as the only Pakistani to win a Bram Stoker Award. Combining local folklore with modern sci-fi tropes, Malik contributes to a unique image for Pakistani sci-fi. He also dedicates himself to promoting speculative fiction writing culture in Pakistan, having founded several platforms like the Salam Award, a spec-fic short story competition with free entry for all. Sidra FSH, another local science fiction author, puts her own twist on the genre by incorporating comedy. Her novel, The Light Blue Jumper, traces the journey of a group of rebels with an unlikely leader fighting an interplanetary battle. Beena Shah, a longtime Pakistani author, also delved into the world of science fiction recently. Her dystopian novel, Before She Sleeps, imagines a future similar to that of The Handmaid's Tale.
I took a story and set it 70 years in the future in a post-apocalyptic, unnamed Middle Eastern country. And I used that setting as a thought experiment. What would happen? What would the world be like if there were no women? Science fiction in Pakistan is a growing genre. I think it's very exciting because it allows us to imagine our futures, both as what we think they're going to be, dystopian, and what we wish they could be, utopian.
Moving into the world of film, Shaie, directed by Faiza Ahmed Khan, was the first ever Pakistani science fiction film to be made. It follows the story of an alien whose spaceship lands in a village in Pakistan. Sure, the special effects aren't the most impressive thing we've seen, but people at the time were astounded by its futuristic vision. In 2014, even Shahroz Sabzwari starred in a science fiction film directed by Summer Nix called Kachi. Set in an apocalyptic Karachi, the film follows the story of a group of citizens who deal with the end of time as they know it. Recently, Pakistan made its own mark on the science fiction territories of dystopia and cyberpunk. Puffball Studios pushed the boundaries of sci-fi and animation with 2 award-winning short films, Shaie Tabassum and Swipe. Co-producer Rasti Farooq spoke about the messaging of both films.
So I remember when Arafat came to us at Puffball with the idea for Shaie Tabassum and Swipe, both of those stories were already on their own leaning towards a sci-fi dystopic genre. And those genres just allowed us to open up the audiences to these difficult subjects like, the lived experience of marginalized groups in Pakistan. And so in Shaie Tabassum, it's a very, it's futuristic Pakistan, but state surveillance is very, very strong. And so you're following this character around. And so when we were making that film, I remember our creative director, Ismail Hassan, she was drawing those characters. And, it was a very interesting opportunity at first to envision what Pakistani sci-fi is like, unique from Western ideas or Asian ideas of what that genre could be.
The realm of science fiction has also made its way into Pakistani music videos, which increasingly use special effects associated with the genre. Contemporary Urdu rock sensation Bayan released a music video for their song Khel Tamasha in 2018, with Dune-like visuals, futuristic technology, and metaphysical commentary on how we have lost ourselves and our humanity. Another star emergence, Tamasha, released a music video for their single Roshni in 2019, which transports you to an entirely different world, literally. Whether it's on the big screen, within the pages of a book, or through the power of music, Pakistani science fiction is a growing genre in itself, forming unique relationships between science, technology, spirituality, and culture. With climate change as threatening as ever, it is crucial that we continue to build a vast imagination of Pakistani sci-fi futures. Remember, it is our stories that make or break us and that will ultimately save us in the end. On that dark and miserable note, here's a very cool picture of a futuristic rickshaw. Until next time.